All right, greetings, salutations, Wax Chronicles. We back. Uh, we are here. We are on Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Yeah,
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
January
January.
19th, 3:52 p.m.
Yeah, and we are back for another episode. Is this the 11th episode? And we didn't make a big enough deal out of the 10th episode, dude. That's a landmark. It
Big landmarks. The most
is
either of
10's
us is
big.
committed to one thing in our life. So
Yeah, I like it, dude. So anyway, for all the basketball hoops heads out there, another fascinating week of basketball. I think something we should start off the podcast with, though, is you know this is kind of hot off the presses. The new
yeah.
news that Pacers are willing, or the Kings are willing to part with De'Aaron Fox in a trade for Domantas Sabonis,
Well,
and I think that we should get our resident Pacers correspondent to respond with the scuttlebutt.
it's a very depressing time as a Pacers fan. I don't know if it's come through on the podcast, but the Domantas Sabonis Miles Turner pairing, I've always been keep them together, but if you got to get rid of one, get rid of Turner. And like 2 weeks ago, it looked like that was signed, sealed, delivered. Like, paying attention to like the Pacers beat, it just seemed like that's the route they were going. And then I think a few days ago, Miles Turner has like a lingering foot
It was a
injury,
stress
possible.
fracture. I thought it was stress
Yeah,
fracture.
or it was a stress reaction in his foot.
Okay.
So what the fuck that means, I don't know. But he's sidelined for a few weeks, and then it seemed like all the trade buzz around Miles Turner just went flatline. And that's when the Sabonis rumors start, man. And it's just like, it's so heartbreaking because, watching Pacers basketball, this is not the guy who should like be the guy that gets shipped out. He is the piece. Like, I get that he's limited, but like this
How?
just, what do
His
you mean?
defense? How
Well,
is
yeah.
Sabonis limited?
So in theory, you have
He can do
like,
everything on offense.
yeah, but you have more flexibility defensively without him because he's not particularly great at like protecting the rim in like the traditional big sense, but also like he gives a lot of effort, but it just seems like the instincts aren't always there. Sometimes, he's more out of place than other guys on the Pacers defense pretty regularly, because they have to play two bigs. Gets switched into matchups that just make him look awful at times. I think his defensive like shortcomings are greatly overstated. I think he's not really been put in a great position to succeed, but it's just like everybody, like, they have all these tradable contracts and these like good player. Like, I mean, how would you classify like Karras, Miles, Sabonis, Brogdon, like semi-stars,
Yeah.
like just
I
on
would
the
say
verge?
Sabonis is I'd say Sabonis is a star, not a superstar.
Which, yeah, like I
I think
guess
Sabonis and Turner are on two different levels as players.
anybody who thinks that they are on the same, I don't think they've watched much Pacers basketball because there's no real proof out there to point to that. If you're saying you like Miles Turner, you're just admitting you like skill set more than actual on court product. I'm trying to not be an a-hole with that take, but it is what it is. I've watched the games. I've done the research. One guy disappears and the other guy leaves his mark on every possession that he's on the court, and that's Domantas Sabonis. So, and the fact that they're trying to bring in another, like, granted, I would assume this is predicated on a LeVert move since Brogdon's not trade eligible. But
do you think
like,
they'd be a part of the same deal and be shipped to like multiple places in like a 3-team deal or something?
well, the popular spot for Karras is always Cleveland, just because their guard depth has taken a serious hit with injuries between Rubio and Sexton.
What would they get back from Cleveland? Is there like a serious rumor that's out there?
That's just the one that's been hinted the most with Karis LeVert.
I know, but there's like nothing like this is what the Cavs would most likely give up. Would it be like a Coro or something like that, or Osman?
That's kind of where the assumption lies. But the only thing I ever hear linked is just it's not. I don't think it's advanced to that level. I think it's more like people speculating that, who's like a really gettable guard and who needs a guard? Karis LeVert, Cavs, like perfect fit. So
that doesn't mean
like,
jack shit.
Well, yeah, it's like, and people make that assumption, then it's like, then that becomes a rumor, and it's like, okay, we'll see if it actually happens. But I don't think, like, seeing the LeVert Brogdon pairing, I don't think Brogdon ever wants to be an off-ball combo guard ever again. He just wants the ball in his hand. He just wants to play 50 possessions of pick and roll.
How's that going to work with De'Aaron Fox?
That's why I'm so fucking angry about this, because if the LeVert-Brogdon pairing
why would
work,
De'Aaron Fox work with Brogdon if Brogdon's not going to adjust?
And the other thing is, like, now you have De'Aaron Fox, who, like, I don't think he might be one of the worst point of attack guard defenders in the league. He's just too small.
Other than Trae Young, which I need.
Well, true. That's fair. But I don't understand how, like, at least LeVert has some size. He can guard across multiple positions, but to just bring in like a super quick all offense point guard, I just don't. I don't know.
Who doesn't have a reliable outside shot?
Yeah, I don't see any. Like, I really like De'Aaron Fox though in a vacuum, but I just think
not. Yeah, based on how this is played out.
Well, yeah, and like just the way Brogdon is, like, everyone wants him to be this, like, what he was on the Bucks, and he's not that player, and he hasn't been that player. He went to Indiana and he was like, okay, I'm the guy here, and he is, for better or for worse. That's what we got, as Pacers
for
fans.
Worse. They're one of the worst teams in the league.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Seeing those it's just heartbreaking, dude. Like, it really feels like, and I guess it's probably best for Sabonis' career to get out of Indy, because he's just going to wallow in mediocrity there. Like, he's better than Indiana, I think. I think he's, like, I remember even early season, like, seeing rumors about, like, the him to the Warriors, and my Warriors hate was like, that would make me want to, like, that would rip my effing heart out. But then it's like, when I think of, like, what's best for Sabo, I don't want him toiling away in Indy. I want him there for my own selfish reasons, but that place has never done right by him. All he's done is, like, busted his ass every night for like 4 or 5 years now. It's like, he's like they didn't want him to be a superstar, and he is. And now, I don't know. I just feel like he gets the short end of the stick when he's the guy who's always there. Like, he's the
dude, homie.
So, between that and the Pacers' performance in the last couple weeks and the Lakers' performance in the last couple weeks, I will say, tell me how the Pelicans are better than the Pacers. I would have never guessed that in a million years.
But let me put this back. I would have guessed, I could have seen that happening if Zion played, relatively full season, but without Zion playing one game, I would have never guessed that.
Well, and, like, funny for a Pacers fan to be like, injuries, that's why. But it's like, again, not to sound like a broken record, but we'll never see the Pacers core that was brought in to be this team. We'll never see them play 1 minute together, which is Brogdon, Karis LeVert, TJ Warren, Sabonis, and Turner. That's their 5 players that their roster is built around, and we'll never see 1 minute of game action with that. And even this season, it's getting to the point where
we
might not see 4, we might not see 3. Like, it's just every week somebody goes down with some 2 week. Obviously every team's had their issue with, like, the COVID protocols and things, but I don't know, man. It really feels like there's some, like, bad juju around the Pacers for the last, like, I don't know, I'd say, kind of post Oladipo all NBA season. It's been dark times, man, and this feels like darkest before it, it's the darkest before it gets bright again, right? Some bullshit like that. At least that's what we tell ourselves as sports fans. But
yeah, and it's a lie every time.
Yeah. My review of the Pacers organization, that dude,
well,
dog shit.
Let me backtrack. So it's like you said, it sounded like they wanted to trade Turner over Sabonis, and Turner getting hurt. I just don't understand from, like, a team building perspective or a management perspective on, if you're like, okay, we have 2 guys, we need to trade one of them, which that's debatable, but we need to trade one of them. We want to trade this guy and keep this guy. Oh, this guy gets hurt, so we can't trade him immediately. Well, then let's trade the guy we want to keep. Well, tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that makes sense from a perspective of, like, we want Sabonis here. We'll get rid of Turner. We want Sabonis. Sabonis is our guy. Oh, wait, we won't be able to trade this asset by this deadline. Let's trade the one we want to keep. What kind of logic?
So Herb Simon, the longtime owner of the Pacers, he's kind of like a shadow
GM.
Well,
was he very involved in basketball?
He's just an owner who has more of a say in basketball operations than some other owners do. And he makes the front office play by a different set of rules than most other GMs, because Herb Simon has been on the record many times saying like his only goal is to keep competitive basketball in Indiana. So that's why they always avoid like kind of those harder decisions. But there was something really illuminating earlier this year in his like biannual media appearance that he does. It was right around the time things looked really bad, and then they had like 3 or 4 wins and like one tough loss against a good team. Like they had like a 1 week where things looked good. And
is that they had that Warriors loss that they choked? Okay.
So right before that, Herb, it was like there's all these reports that like Pacers might be tearing it down. Like I don't think there was like a ton of legitimacy to those, but usually they're not founded in nothing. Somebody has some connection within an organization and has heard that it's even an option. Usually it's not totally fabricated. But then like this is just how short-sighted the Pacers are. And Herb Simon is one good week and he says, you know what? I think I like this little team. We aren't going to tear it down. And it's like,
hey, I thought the same way, dude.
Well, yeah, but it's like, that's why you don't make short-term decisions. You like, let's not use a 4-game sample size as like,
but isn't this a short-term decision though this year? It's like, okay, we have a bunch of guys who are hurt and we have a new coach and we're giving them 20, 30 games to figure shit out.
All these guys always will be hurt though. It's a bad It's been 4 years.
That's not true.
No, that's 4 years.
No. I mean, the only one who's constantly hurt is TJ
Sabo
Warren.
missed the playoffs in the bubble.
Okay. Don't care.
TJ Warren's missed like 2 years.
Yeah, TJ Warren's the one that
Brogdon misses like a good month or two every season. Like Turner always has these ticky-tack injuries. LeVert had goddamn cancer. Like this isn't just normal. These injuries are not like, how many other rosters do you see where they're 5 we can't get a 1 minute sample size of this team in like 3 years. Granted, like LeVert's like a newer addition.
And you can't use TJ Warren because he's just been out. TJ Warren's not a part of this equation to me anymore. He's like you're using TJ Warren to say they haven't had their 5 play together. It's like that's like, TJ Warren's just not going to play. He's not going to play. So like I think it's more important to focus on like getting the 4 to play together who are actually going to play together at some point. Because I'm convinced TJ Warren's just not going to play another game for the Pacers.
I mean, I have been operating under that assumption for a long time, but I don't think it erases the history. Like
I understand, but it's like
if you were to ask everybody in the Pacers organization before his setbacks this year, are you excited about this team? Do you think TJ Warren's the piece we need? Fans, players, people in the organization all believe that he was, because the last time we saw TJ Warren playing basketball for the Pacers, he looked like an elite like forward, like for the modern NBA. Get his own bucket, crunch time scorer, hard-nosed defense, size, guard multiple positions. He's he has kind of like an alpha dog mentality when he's on the court. And it's like coming into the season, Pacers, we were thinking he was going to be there. And this was going to be the year they got their guys. They got a new coach. Like this is the year. And then it's like, well, no, it's just a continuation of all the bullshit that's been happening. So, I mean, I don't know. I think the injury luck they have had is like, it's just time to be done with a lot of these guys and move off it. But I don't know, man. It's so depressing. It's just, there's no bright spots. Like try to find one, Lance, 3 games.
Chance.
That's the best part of our year. And now we get to see Sabo get shipped out to Sacktown, which is the only market worse than Indiana. Even my one request, if you're going to ship out Sabo, do right by him. Nope, let's send him to Sacktown.
Dude, they'll fucking make a 10 seed with him, dude. Watch, he'll turn that shit around.
I hope so, dude. That guy, I'm working myself into a shoot. Initially I was angry that Sabo was the guy. Now I'm just like, we don't deserve him, dude. Maybe it's like this is the stage of grief that I'm at, but we never deserved him. Pacers fandom, Pacers organization always treated him like shit.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Zion, dude. It's like, you know what? All the fat jokes and all the body shaming, all the hatred, just fuck every fan. Send Zion to a place where people will care about him and not give a shit. New York, I don't give a fuck where it is. Speaking of Sabo, though, sorry, were you going to say something?
Well, no, I was just like, I don't know. I'd just be rehashing old stuff, but it's just like,
we'll say it.
They're just so quick to criticize him. They look at his minor like warts, and that's the only prism that people look through when they look at Domantas Sabonis. But then it's weird because we have the perfect flip side of that with Miles Turner. Nobody looks at what he's actually doing. They only look at the idea of him.
Mhm.
Like people like trash Sabo for the idea of him, but don't pay attention to who he actually is. But then people jerk off to the idea of Miles Turner, but then nobody pays attention to what he actually is because like that's the last I'll say on it. I promise. But that's me trying to like quantify what it feels like to be a Pacers fan and be a Sabonis fan, because he's my favorite player on the team outside of Lance. So it's hard, dude. It's hard.
Chance Stevenson. I will say with Sabo though, kind of unrelated. I've done some revisiting with the All-Star conversation we had last week. I would say I would take Sabo over Jason Tatum. Now you still haven't answered for me.
I was wrong about a lot of things, so just don't even worry about it. We don't.
You don't have one. You don't have one to.
Again, let
me say this too. I thought of this too when I was thinking about the Bulls backcourt and not putting Trae Young in, and I'm glad we touched on it. Trae Young, you could make an argument it's like the worst defender in the league when it comes to like major minutes and like a major role. The defense is a major part of basketball, and I know Levine's not a great defender, but he's not Trae Young, and I think that's something I can add on to Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan's resumes. They're not the worst defender in the league.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty bad though. They're pretty bad.
Trae Young is a different level, dude.
At least he can say, "Hey, I'm 5'10" and I weigh 165 pounds."
I don't care what the excuse is, dude. I don't care.
Do you? This is like irrelevant to that conversation, but do you think he's like a net positive on the court?
Trae Young, yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure we both like at least agree on that, because I know there are. I think a lot of those people that used to say that have kind of seeing how Trae's gotten better.
I forget some of their stuff, like the on-off stuff that Trae Young and the Hawks, but like they don't have offense without Trae Young, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I think but it is crazy to me to think about that. Like defense is half of the game of basketball, but all we talk about when we talk about players is rebounds, assists, points, and like steals and block. Like we just talk about raw numbers, and it's like defense is so much different than that. It's not even it's not even funny, and so we just completely disregard that stuff.
And it's unquantifiable too. That's the thing about the defense is like I try not to use like any advanced metrics.
I don't believe
because none of them seem accurate. None of them pass the sniff test. So it's like you said, defense truly is half the game, and it's all eye test. So it's like it's tough to quantify that, because you can always put, well, this guy averages 29 on this efficiency.
Well, I will say there are some that like they're more of like process driven statistics and not like results driven statistics, where it's like, the amount of shots that players can test and stuff, and like that type of stuff means something. But I mean, obviously there's a lot of nuance to that as well. But I just wanted to say that too. So I wanted to say that I was wrong about putting Jason Tatum. I think Sabonis deserves it more after some consideration, but I thought that was another reason that I didn't elaborate on last time. Like Trae Young's defense is so horrific in my opinion. Like, put it this way, dude. If I think I could score on one, like, and I know this is blasphemous, if I could score on one player in the NBA,
your best shot would be
my best shot would probably be Trae Young, I think.
Yeah.
Which, like, I'm not saying I could score on, I still probably couldn't. But like that's kind of how I thought. I was like, wow, if I had to pick every player in the league, I'd probably pick Trae Young. I
got a question though. You might have closer games against somebody else, because he would absolutely dust your ass. You like, if it's make it take it, you're losing 21.
No, I know. I'm not even saying I could score on him even if I started with the ball.
Yeah, but you're literally your best shot. If you're playing 5-on-5 and you get him and you're in the post, like somebody dumps it in, you might get one up.
Yeah, I could Andre Miller him all the way from the 3-point line with his skinny legs. Give me a ride, punker. Dude. I will dust you.
Wait, have you watched that recently? Because they just put it on Netflix. I watched it like 2 nights ago.
You just said dust. So I thought, yeah.
Okay. Shouts out to B Rad G from Malibu, aka B Shiznit. It's not a real person.
Yes, it is.
Up here it is, dude.
Anyway, do you have any people you thought about the All-Star game?
I think I still believe my Jimmy Butler take, but it's wrong. I'm wrong, but it's still what I believe.
No, Well, so
because ultimately the best ability is availability. That phrase gets said, and it gets said so as such a throwaway line that it loses its actual meaning. But no, the best skill a player can actually have on a basketball court is showing the fuck up. So I think game limits. If I could go back and redo what I did, I would put more of a weight into games played. I really would.
But with that said, you would still put Jimmy Butler over Chris Middleton. So you're admitting admitting the fault, but you're not backtracking.
No. I would.
Confused.
I think I would, but like now I'm just like, and again, like part of my Jimmy Butler thing was predicated on he's going to come back and get in some more games before. So, but I wasn't.
I mean, he's been back though, I guess.
And I wasn't consistent with that rule. Hey, all the greats do.
It's one game. It's just
Jason Tatum, dude.
Yeah, every night for him.
But no, I definitely, I'm not going to sit because like my ballot should be thrown out because I didn't even understand the fucking questions. So there's that. But yeah, no, I'm glad we both went back to our corners and thought on it because I was getting a little heated, dude.
Dude, calm down.
I was like this much hot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was, dude.
I don't think I was really hot at all. I was having fun though, because I know I was getting on your fucking nerves, but like I didn't walk away thinking you were mad at me. I guess you were.
No. I didn't think either of us was mad at each other, but like we both have like the way we argue is just so similar that it's like sometimes there is real like, listen, motherfucker, shut up and listen to me.
I re-listened to it. And it was funny. You just like I think one time you're just like, shut the fuck up. I thought it was definitely funny, dude.
Dude, that was a good rewatch, dude. Yeah, I was worried about how it would come across, but that's a conversation for outside of this. But
I'm just gonna start coming up. I'm just gonna start trolling, dude, because that's some good shit, dude.
That's the last thing I need, dude. Professional troll, just fucking give me the business.
I'm one of the goats, dude.
Seriously, maybe the goat. Do you want to get back into the? Did you want to talk Lakers Jazz or
yeah. So. Watching the Lakers Jazz game from, I believe, Monday night, if you will.
It
raised a larger question to me. I think you and I are both, I wouldn't say Rudy Gobert loyalists or apologists, but I think we're both very much on the side of like, he's a great player who can, he can be a great player on a great team. And I think he could be a meaningful piece on a championship team. And so like last year when they were having trouble handling like some of these perimeter oriented offenses, like against the Clippers and stuff. And everybody's like, it's Gobert. And, I think we kind of bristled at that. One thing that was really interesting to me watching this Lakers game was Stanley Johnson, who, wasn't even in the league until all this COVID stuff happened. And now, he's found himself,
Stanley Johnson. Say it right, dude, or get the fuck off the pod, dude. Just kidding.
Let's be real here, because he's just standing on the shoulders of giants like a Stanley Robinson.
The true OG, dude.
Yeah. Anyway, where was I? Stanley Johnson wasn't even in the league. He took, for anybody out there who watches it, Stanley Johnson essentially took over the fourth quarter of the game.
He was a former lottery pick, correct?
Yeah.
And then just kind of like can't find footing anywhere. The one guy that couldn't work in Toronto.
Yeah, for real. But he's obviously got the skill because he's playing really good minutes on a team that needs really good minutes from somebody. And so obviously, like with this whole LeBron at center experience and experiment, it's left the Lakers lacking a lot of size, and Gobert is one of the tallest players in the league with, I would guess the longest wingspan in the league.
Yeah.
But my question, I guess it's not even really a question, it's just an observation that I was going to get your thoughts on, was down the stretch, Stanley Johnson, there was about 4 possessions in a row where they gave Stanley Johnson the ball and Gobert sagged off him about 10 feet, and Stanley Johnson would just kind of slowly move his way from the 3-point line
into an 18-footer.
Well, not even that though. He would there were a couple times where Gobert was like at the top of the key. Stanley Johnson would kind of work his way from like the 3-point line to the key, and then he would get around Gobert and finish at the rim.
Dang.
And then there was a couple of those, and then another one where he pulled up and shot a free throw line jump shot right in Gobert's face because Gobert just was too far off him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we all understand that that's one of Gobert's weaknesses is, him working on the perimeter. And when, that's something that teams focus on in the playoffs. It's like, hey, we need to isolate Rudy on the perimeter and put him in uncomfortable situations where he has to move his feet, blah, 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 which I think he can do a decent enough job at. But
yeah, he's
I just thought
improved.
I just thought it was
to go.
I just thought it was really interesting to have a player like Stanley Johnson who was literally attacking Gobert.
Yeah, G Leaguer.
There was one point where Stanley got in the paint and took Gobert down into the paint and pumped reverse pivot step through layup, and Rudy couldn't block it. And Stanley Johnson's 6'5", I think, but he's strong and nifty and agile. And so I thought that was interesting that a player like Stanley Johnson was just having his way with Gobert. And then on the other end, this is the thing that really got to me is you have somebody who's 7'1" being guarded by somebody who's 6'5".
Yeah, they can't post him up.
He can't post. And I was reading a Reddit thread about it after the fact, and it seemed like the Jazz fans were more on the side of Jordan Clarkson and Donovan Mitchell just wouldn't pass the ball. And that's something that's kind of a continued issue is hey, there's these huge mismatches in the post, but they just want to shoot hard contested threes. And, they're really good at making them, but it's just crazy to me because I think back to the 2015 finals when Mozgov was the second best player and he was having some really good games against the Warriors because it's you know what? He's 7'1". Your biggest guy on is 6'8". We're just going to get down there and let him shoot little baby hooks. And it's the fact that Gobert.
Why not even try it, right?
Yeah. It's I don't know if it's this is maybe kind of a chicken or the egg thing is they don't trust Gobert, so they don't give Gobert.
But they never developed him that way either.
But even then,
part of that's on the Jazz organization.
No, but I refuse to believe that Gobert, if you give him the ball in the lower block with a guy who's 6'5",
yeah,
he
can't turn a shoulder.
Dunk the motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
motherfucker is Stretch Armstrong with those arms.
What do you think about all that? Because it's the Jazz obviously have remained, relatively the same over the past few years, and Gobert is their, second most important player, I think people would say. But for him to be abused on defense by somebody who's 6'5", and then also not be able to take advantage of anybody on offense, I don't know. It's the first time I've ever because I've seen Rudy get abused in the past in games. It just look like he's doesn't.
Yeah.
Then there's other games where he literally
baby deer out on the perimeter.
Yeah, but then there's other games where he's the best player on the court with his shot blocking and finishing around the rim.
Oh
and
my
stuff.
God!
Talk about gravity.
He can dominate games. He can dominate games.
I just wonder what you thought about that because it was a really fun watch because Stanley Johnson was passing, he was scoring, he was laying it up around Gobert because Stanley Johnson's not some guy who's finishing over people. He's not some crazy effing.
No, nobody thinks of him as
he was just
a G leaguer.
Yeah, he was just doing a good job laying it up. I was I just have never really seen somebody
saying that. I should stop saying that.
Yeah, not anymore.
He's not. But
I will just say I'll kind of put a ball on the list because I've been rambling for a little bit, but I've just never seen anybody with that. Stanley Johnson's athletics, I want to make that clear, but somebody without somebody without Levine athleticism or crazy athleticism or length, somebody who's just of average height and build, seemingly for the NBA, average athleticism for the NBA, finishing with layups around Gobert.
Sounds like good fundamentals, dude.
Yeah, it's what it was.
Sounds like to me.
But it's even good fundamentals can't help you from getting blocked by somebody with a 7'4" wingspan.
Oh God, yeah, with a 9'4" standing reach or whatever it ends up being. But no, I don't know. I kind of see it two ways. So one, I think NBA coaches, players sometimes get very stuck where sometimes, and maybe this is just the common fan looking and just saying, why wouldn't you abuse, in terms of NBA, Gobert has quadruple the length of Stanley Johnson.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you at least try to abuse that? So I don't know if that's just the common man coming in and looking at it through that lens, or if it's truly NBA players and coaches are not good at addressing those really, really, really quickly. Because the other thing I see with the Jazz is they have the track record over the last 4 years. They have the continuity. They have the coaching. I wouldn't be surprised if their philosophy all season, we're going to play our basketball through the regular season. We're going to play our brand of basketball. We're not going to stray from that because when we do that, we're the best offense the league has ever seen. and we're an elite defense. So, maybe that's why teams are quicker to make these adjustments in the playoffs and like actually abuse those things. But it seems like there's some weird hesitancy. I think the people that make those decisions look at the game in a way more advanced, way more educated way than we do. But as just a common fan, it is hard to look at that as a guy who's played pickup in his life and just be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like every level of basketball I've ever played, it was like, oh, you have a mismatch in the post. That's the easiest 2 points we will get. That is as easy as it gets. And I get that the modern NBA just doesn't operate that way. But
if you shoot 40% on a three, it's 1.2 point per possession.
Yeah, it's like it's stupid, and it sucks for guys like Gobert because I believe that he has more to offer, but it's just like he's never going to get that opportunity to do so with that organization. But I don't know, man. That's an awesome observation. I really wanted to see that game. I didn't think we'd get the breakdown of the Gobert Stanley Johnson. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, if you can catch, just search Stanley Johnson fourth quarter, it was.
I'll probably just go
amazing.
back and watch the 10-minute highlight on YouTube.
Yeah, I just would be hopeful that they would show, because it was like 4 possessions in a row going.
If it's crunch time buckets, those 10-minute videos will show that. I feel.
Yeah, and it was crazy though, because I'm not lying to you, Gobert was guarding Stanley Johnson like they used to guard Rondo in Rondo's third year, where it's like
drop coverage, but he was in man.
Yeah, he was in man, and he was just like, you know what? I'm going to stand here in the paint, and I don't care how close. It was literally that bad. It was like back when Rondo wouldn't even shoot 17 or a 3-pointer, and
I was just gonna say maybe the scouting report's not out on Stanley Johnson yet. Maybe it's still in the prove it stage because you can see that with some of these.
No, that's what I'm saying though. Is it's not like he was. It's not like when somebody is dropping off of a player and they shoot it and they start making shots. I'm confused how. I think the scouting report was right. Was Stanley Johnson's not a shooter. Mm-hmm. He only hit one jump shot. It was that free throw line that he rattled in. So Gobert was playing him. I presumably how you'd want to play Stanley.
Oh, but he was still just not able to protect the rim.
Yeah, it's like you sag off somebody so they can't get by you. So Rudy Gobert was sagging off Stanley Johnson. Stanley Johnson still get by you. Yeah,
at 6'5", 6'6", and average length.
Yeah, and he wasn't finishing over him. He wasn't finishing through them. Some people try and finish through Gobert because he's skinnier.
Yeah,
he was finishing around him, which is so hard to do, especially when somebody is you can't get the jump on him, and he was getting the jump on him. It was just the weirdest thing.
Well, another thing, I just looked because I pulled up the box score when we started talking about it. And I was like, was Gobert in foul trouble and hesitant to
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
But no, I mean, it didn't look like he was in any serious foul trouble. I mean, I don't know, man. It could have just been an off night for the fucking gobstopper. Maybe Stanley Johnson. Maybe he's the fucking solution for the Lakers, dude.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Pelican, but fuck.
Yeah, he could have been on a lot of fucking teams. Yeah. He could have been on any team.
No, he actually was though. That's the fucking problem.
True. Wasn't he on the Bulls? I don't know. I
feel
like he's been on a 10-day.
Pistons, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy that he's killing it. He's so sweet, man.
Seriously. Plus, I don't know how you feel about those lottery pick wings that just I'll always root for those guys, even like Josh Jackson. I see him doing stuff. I'm just like, I want to see him do good. I want to see him carve out a role. Not necessarily, he doesn't have to be the best, 8th pick ever, but I want those guys in the league. I don't know.
Which that just goes to show how ass the roster around LeBron is this year. That somebody that was on the street could be picked up and become one of their most valuable players. And that's not to say that Stanley Johnson's not valuable and he's not good, but and ideally you would have players that you can't just get off the street.
Yeah.
But well, that's a whole nother argument though, whether or not Stanley Johnson deserves to be on the street.
Because there could also be a gap in the way people were evaluating and using Stanley Johnson.
Or employing him, yeah. So just interesting. I mean, I think that Lakers obviously have a lot of personnel issues they need to work out. They have a lot of dog shit players on that team. And dog shit players in terms of NBA players.
Yeah, of course. It's
except DJ.
Well, I mean, the fact that
Bazemore and
Ellington, Bazemore, and Ariza, they just needed to hit on one of those guys, and it looks like they're all 3 fucking total duds to me.
Yeah,
it's just you can't. I mean, and then with the clunky fit with Westbrook.
How do you think about the Vogel stuff?
I mean, I think with the talent that they've even had in their games, they've disappointed. So some of that should be on coaching as well as players as well as roster construction. I don't think he's like
They won a title 2 years ago, and they could have won a title last year if it wasn't for their two best players being hurt in the playoffs. If they fire Frank Vogel and replace him with like Fizdale, I'm going to be so upset.
Yeah, I mean, this is the we try not to talk about this side of stuff, but this is the frustrating part about the LeBron teams. Guys, like Vogel, a lot of times don't really get a fair shake. What in other organizations, winning a title would have set him up for a fat 4-year extension. What did Budenholzer get an extension after or before?
I think it was after, because people were talking about like if they came up short in the playoffs, it was over.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's very unfair, but it's like also if you take a job coaching in LA and coaching LeBron, like it ain't fair, but you have to know that this is a possibility, which sucks. It shouldn't be that way.
As a fan, I don't think anybody thinks it's a good idea to get rid of Vogel because of how poorly the roster's been constructed this year.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean that's the NBA though, man. Like players, coaches get fired, then GMs get fired, then players get shipped out. That's like I feel like that's the blame game. So
that's true.
But I agree with you. I'm a Vogel truther. I feel like most of the blame should be on Pelinka. Whatever. If you believe in the
Rambis,
GM,
dude. No,
yeah.
But Rambis, dude, like I've heard things about Rambis. He's like kind of like lurking in this. Like he has some of the most influence in the Lakers organization. And I guess I saw a post. I forget who it was by, or I think it was a post from that was a source that was coming from a source, but it was like Rambis wants him to play Dwight and DJ Moore to have more size. It's like, motherfucker, this ain't 83.
Yeah, guys, like just go away.
I'm all for playing size, but it's like DeAndre's not that guy.
That's not the size you need. If you've watched 1 minute of DeAndre basketball or DeAndre Jordan basketball in the last 2 years, he's not a
4 years, 5 years. Motherfucker's been washed, dude. Seriously,
dude. He's got an all NBA in there. He's got an all NBA in there somewhere.
Not 4 years ago.
I don't know when. That's too deep cut. But no, I mean, you're right. Like that is such a just asinine thing to say in this day and age.
Who said it? I don't know if it's somebody, but it's like the Lakers are like the most prestigious franchise in all of professional sports, or one of like the top 5 most prestigious franchises in all of professional sports, and they're run like a mom and pop store with like
seriously
this is my friend, this is
nepotism,
my
unreal, dude.
Yeah,
unreal.
So,
I feel like we always hear that too. It's like, well, I mean, you don't have to look like all the decision makers that they bring in are like friends, and they.
I mean, I will say that's probably pretty prevalent in a lot of organizations. Just
True.
Like like some
it feels like more with the Lakers, though.
Yeah, but it's crazy with the Lakers. Like I know, like the Raiders, like the Davis family's a large part of that. The Jones family's a large part of the Cowboys, but it's not an NFL podcast.
The Raiders fired Mike Mayock, dude. What are your thoughts? Anyways,
well,
I don't know. I guess like I said, I've had a pretty rough week. Haven't been able to watch a ton of hoops. So was there anything else you wanted to cover today? My homework is to watch some more games. So hopefully I'll be able to bring a little more heat.
McFilthy ass wipe. Don't forget it. Believe it.
That's bio.
I following kind of another follow-up last week. Was it last week? I think, where we were talking about player of the month stuff.
Yeah.
I was looking at player of the week stuff this time, which gets a little bit cooler.
Yeah, it's
got a little bit more off the wall. Yeah. And so I pulled in the most interesting players that I found dating back to 1990.
Okay.
They started doing the same thing in terms of giving it
Eastern and Western Conference.
Yeah, I think 0102, I believe, was the year they started doing that. So similar with player of the week.
Any janky ones before that when it was truly player of the week? Because even that is like, that's got to be a major accomplishment if it's like a.
Yeah, exactly. And so I will say I only went back to 90, it would have only been from that time frame of like the ones that stuck out to me would only have been from like 1990 to like 2001 when they started giving them out to each conference. But yeah, I have some interesting ones. that I
Do you
will.
have do you have them ranked at all? Like, do you have one that's like obviously the wildest?
Bruce Bowen really threw me off.
Whoa.
Bruce Bowen won Player of the Week.
I can't ever think of him as not being an off the bench role player, so that is strange.
Well, I think he started, but it's like the motherfucker had career averages like 7 points a game.
Yeah.
But anyway, I literally pulled this is where I pulled it, dude. I went and pulled the box scores for each of these. If you'd be interested in any of them.
Yes, please.
So I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna go down a list of all the interesting ones that I found.
What year is this, by the way,
for Bruce Bowen?
Yeah.
Well, let me backtrack here. I will read the year and the player. I pulled probably like 20 different weeks of box scores from different players that I found interesting, and we can just go through any of the ones you find interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna fly down the list. Chris Kaman in 09. No, I know he was an all-star. That one's one of the least interesting ones I pulled.
Yeah, but he's like forgotten to NBA. He is totally a ghost.
There's some crazy ones in there. Let me just run down the list. Ersan Ilyasova in 2012, Grievous Vasquez in 2012, Nikola Pekovic in 2013, Jared Sullinger in 2014, JJ Barea in 2016, Sadiq Bey in 2021. This one is cool. Lucius Harris in 02. Bruce Bowen in 05. Yeah. Bruce Bowen in 05. Kurt Thomas in 02. Chris Wilcox in 06.
Okay.
Mike James in 06. Aaron Mckee in 2000. Derek Anderson in 2001. Daryl Armstrong in 99. Wesley Person in 97. Lloyd Vaught in 97. Chris Gatling in 96. Elliot Perry in 94. Oliver Miller in 93 and Rumio Robinson in 93. So those were some of the most interesting ones I found.
Oh my Lord.
And then I also this could turn into a long ass podcast because I was like coming across guys and looking at the player cards and finding some interesting things. So anyway, is there any of those that stuck out to you that you think are interesting?
Well, no, it's too many to go through at once. Give me the first five again.
Kaman, Ilyasova, Grievous, Pekovic, Sullinger.
I want to know Sullinger. The other ones, like obviously surprising, but like I think of those other guys as like having
JJ
a moment.
Barea?
You didn't say JJ Barea in that group of five, did you?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize.
But the Jared Sullinger one jumps out to me because like Peck was like good at a point. Injuries kind of sidetracked his career, and then the modern NBA also kind of made him irrelevant. Kaman obviously had some good years.
All-star year. Yeah.
I mean, he was a good player, but the one that really jumped out. Yeah. Which one jumps out at you from that grouping?
Probably Jared Sullinger, just based on the fact that like you said, Kaman has been an all-star. Ilyasova has those stretches where he was like somehow the only guy on a team and he was like shooting the ball all the fucking time. Yeah. Grievous Vasquez was the best player on the Horns for like
and he led the league in hard assists, not assists per game 1 year. So it's like, okay, I could believe that.
Yeah, and then Pekovic, he had monster stretches with his doubles. But
Ilyasova was probably the second most, and then Sullinger's probably the most shocking to me out of those five. Run through the Sullinger numbers then.
Yeah, so Sullinger in 2014 was still in Boston at the time. He was 21 years old. That's pretty impressive.
Wow.
Hold on, let me try and I need to.
It's crazy, dude. He was like one of the top high school recruits and stuff.
Yeah, who is he really good friends with? Trey Burke.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I
almost fell out of my chair.
Oh, dang, I wish I was in that. I had to freeze up to row 3. Okay, cool. Sullinger, February, he played 3 games in this week. I forget what the week of was. I didn't pull that information. God damn it. Bear with me, folks.
Just run through the freaking games, dude.
I am, but he's lower on my Google sheet. Oh. And so I gotta freeze the shit. So
I'll find this in 25 seconds. Dude.
No, don't you asshole. This is my glory.
Do better. Just kidding, dude. You're literally soloing this week, dude. I'm doing
okay. I got it. Dick slap. All right.
Dick slapper.
Jared Sullinger, 2014, 21 years of age for the Boston Celtics. He played 3 games that week. Finally got my panes frozen properly. He shot 6 for 11. 6 for 11. 10 boards, 5 dimes, 19 points in the first game.
19, 10, and 5. Was it a win, or do you have that?
Yeah, all 3 were wins.
Yeah,
no, 2 wins and a 2 wins and a loss.
19,
second
10,
game,
and 5.
Second game, he was 14 for 24 from the field.
Whew.
Had 16 boards, no dimes. So it was just a 31 and 16 block steal. He did have 4
Fucking
blocks in the first game too.
beast mode.
He had 4 blocks in the first game. I didn't mention that. Third game of the week, 11 points, 12 boards, no steals, no blocks, 2 dimes.
Dang.
Shot 4 for 13 from the field. So pretty solid week. But I mean, I think that's probably what we would have expected for Sullinger. Was like, hey, he had some good scoring with some big board games.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Can I cut you off for 2 seconds? I'm starting to get connectivity issues. Can we back out and create a new meeting?
Yeah, you want me to?
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut off the thing, but I just don't want to get where we're doing that, like, I'm waiting for you, you're waiting for me thing.
Okay, yeah. I'll stop it right now.
Okay.
Right now.
Sweet.
Forgive us for the technical dick sucking. Where we will pick right back up.
Part of the charm.
Yeah, so we just left off with Jared Sullinger, his somewhat unremarkable week.
Unremarkable? He was probably averaging like 20, like 12, like
yeah, people do that for a whole season. I ain't impressed, dog.
All right, dude. Haters. Fucking haters, dude.
I want to talk about Lucius Harris.
Go through the next grouping of 5.
Okay. I guess
do it that way.
Jage the Juice Man Barea, Sadiq Bey, Lucius Harris, Bruce Bowen, Kurt Thomas. There's a couple juicy ones in here that are interesting.
Holy shit. I mean, that's like a 5 juicy ones in my mind. Dude.
Yeah, they're all fun.
Start with JJ Barea. And what year was it again? Sorry.
2016. He was 31 years old. Mavs won 4 games.
I feel like I remember this slightly.
And it was in April, so towards the end of the season. Which I'm sure there could be a trend there, but he was shooting really well. In his 4 games, 7 for 13, 10 for 18, 13 for 23, 8 for 19. Shooting well from 3 as well. He had it's kind of like high level stats: 18 points, 11 dimes, 26 points, 7 dimes, 5 boards, 29 points, 3 dimes, 3 boards, and then 21 points, 6 dimes, 3 boards.
Sheesh.
So he had a solid little run there in 2016.
That's crazy too, because he's so undersized, and to be at that age, like, I don't know. Beret has always been impressive. A gamer, though.
Yeah, Lucius Harris, 4 games, 7%, all 4 wins for the Nets in 02, right around Christmas time. 7 for 17, 7 for 12, 9 for 15, 6 for 10, and then he had box scores of 20, 7 boards, 4 dimes, 17. 4 boards, 6 dimes, 25, 8 boards, 3 dimes, 17, 8 boards, 7 dimes.
What in the world, dude?
So he had just like a really well-rounded little stretch there of like solid scoring.
That might be the most shocking one on the list.
No, I don't know. Bruce
Bowen up there.
Bruce Bowen is like, his career averages are so low for him to perform to the level.
Yeah, but so is Lucius Harris. Like, he's literally almost just like Bruce. I mean, obviously doesn't have the reputation.
I don't know, dude. Look at their like. I feel like a large part of player of the week stuff goes to just like statistically impressive weeks.
Dude, you want to
hear
what is
Lucius Harris? Yeah, what's like? I'm guessing he had at least just 1 year where he averaged double digits.
1 year he averaged 10.3.
Okay.
His most rebounds he's ever averaged per game in a season 3.9. Most dimes 2. So his best season's 10, 3, and 2. And everything else.
I'm guessing Bruce Bowles would be like 8, 3, and 2.
But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, they're like the same 8, 3.5, 1.5. But I mean, even Bruce Bowen has like the, reputation, at least somewhat. But those are both pretty shocking. Well, yeah, and I mean, obviously that stuff's not going to count towards player of the week. But
and there must have been a weaker effort. I'm less impressed with Bruce Bowen's week. He had a week in 2005. Right around the beginning of the year. Spurs won 3 of 4. He shot 1 of 8, 9 of 19, 4 of 7, and 6 of 8. And his high-level lines were 2 points, 4 boards, 2 dimes, 3 steals. 24 points, 4 boards, 2 dimes. 11, 2 boards, 0 dimes, 17, 2 boards, 1 dime. I'm not that impressed by that.
I feel like that was probably just like some Spurs circle jerk shit, honestly.
A weak ass
because
week, dude. Where like that even like
you could probably find 3 players on the Spurs that had a more. I mean, I'm sure he deserved some recognition for his play, but that seems
bullshit. Yeah, that's
a little much
from the record.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving here. Chris Wilcox, Mike James, Aaron McKee, Derek Anderson.
I mean, let's say
Daryl
it on.
Armstrong.
Say the one you want to hear on 3. 1, 2, 3. Chris Wilcox.
Okay, perfect.
He
was 06 playing for Seattle. That would have been his like 3rd year in the league, I think. He had a 6 for 12, a 9 for 13, and a 9 for 12. 18 points, 13 boards, 2 dimes. 26 points, 24 boards, 2 blocks. 20
Say that
points,
again?
26, 24, and 2 blocks.
What the fuck?
And then he had his last one of the week was a 20, 10, and 6.
I forgot.
You know what would be interesting is to find
10 years. I forgot he stuck around.
It'd be interesting to find who's the most obscure player with a 25-25 game. He almost had it.
I mean, even for a 2020 game, like if you look at like post like 19 whatever, like post 1970, maybe shot clock era, maybe like 80s and later. I don't know, man. That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah. So they won all 3 games. That's a pretty sweet little stretch. It was in April, so
that's actually wild.
Everything goes fucking ballistic.
Yeah.
Pause on the Mike James one. I'm going to revisit it
because he had a 50 or I don't know. That was probably his career high he scored that week. Didn't he have one big scoring game?
He had a 30-pointer and a 28-pointer and a 17-pointer that week. So nothing too wild, but I'm going to revisit that season in 1 second. All right, Aaron McKee, that was pretty crazy. He had some just solid scoring games. He did have a triple-double, though. Aaron McKee had a 19, 14 dimes and 10 boards, which is pretty cool. Derek Anderson. Derek Anderson wasn't that cool just because Derek Anderson had a lot of good moments, like scoring.
Yeah.
I feel like, but I just thought it was cool to see his name pop up because that's somebody
I'd agree
else
with that.
Play old video games. Daryl Armstrong had really good seasons, so that one's not that crazy, but I thought that was pretty cool. Wesley Person, you want to talk about that one? He played 2 games in a week, a couple wins for Cleveland in '97, and he had 24 points, 6 boards, 2 dimes, 30 points, 6 boards, 3 dimes. So what you would expect out of a Wesley Person.
What didn't he? We used to take him on our Live 04 seasons sometimes. I know it was him and Kittles
occasionally.
and a couple other dudes. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
All right, so I'll go through this last stretch. And I think after looking at stats, Romeo Robinson is one of the most statistically significant, like kind of outliers if you click on his player card.
Okay.
But the last ones we'll go through will be Lloyd Vaught, Chris Gatling, Elliot Perry, Oliver Miller, and Romeo Robinson. Who do you want to know about?
Wait, who was number 2?
Chris Gatling.
Wait, just say them all again. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Lloyd Vaught, Chris
Vaught.
Gatling. Dude, well, this is actually leads to another part of this conversation.
I want to see Lloyd Vaught and Elliot Perry and fucking Romeo Robinson. So
Lloyd Vaught was 5 for 10, 10 for 15, 10 for 18, and 7 for 14. And he had a 13, 11, and 2, a 29 and 0, 2 steals, 2 blocks, a 22, 13, 1, 1, 1, an 18, 8, 2, 2, 0. I want to talk about Lloyd Vaught a little more extensively. So we're going to go Elliot Perry next.
I want to ask one question before we continue. Do you think, and I don't know how these awards even get.
4 wins for Lloyd Vaught for the Clippers in that stretch.
I wonder if whoever determines these awards, I wonder if they like almost have a proclivity to like, if a career role player does have a week where they're like, they were down with injuries. Like, I wonder if there's
they were down bad.
If they were down, like I wonder if the Bruce Bowen, like if he was like, I don't know. I'd just be interested to know if they just have almost a natural bias to give it to guys who are like less deserving because of that. But
it would be interesting to like know a little more context behind it other than just looking at box scores. Like look at who else was playing, what kind of was going on in the league at that time, how the team was doing.
I think it's safe to assume though that there's probably other players with bigger names that could have like beat these guys and won these awards. But I mean, it's cool that I don't know. I love when these types of role players get this recognition because a lot of times they have pretty blank resumes when it's all said and done. So
one thing that seems to be important though is how the team does.
Team success.
Because like
I feel like we see that even now though in the voting. They're never going to give it to somebody who's
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I pulled 21 players. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8 of them had a loss in the week they were player of the week.
Dang.
And only one of them had 2 losses.
Who is that?
Daryl Armstrong.
Okay. But he's
everybody.
He was legit.
There's 2 of them. Kurt Thomas
okay.
Had a double loss week, but every other week was a winning week.
Well, and like we know,
those 2 weeks were 500.
and Kurt Thomas have had years where they've been like significant contributors. They're still surprising. Like I would have never guessed in a million years that they'd show up on this list, but given some of the other names, they're a little less surprising.
Yeah, so it's just kind of interesting to see. Like that does seem to be something that's important is how the team plays in those games.
Well, sorry to get us off course. You want to talk about Lloyd Vaught? Or I wanted you to talk about Lloyd Vaught.
Yeah, I want to talk about Lloyd Vaught, but just let me finish these last couple and then we can quote this exercise and just read the stats. Elliot Perry, 3 wins for the Suns in 94. He shot 7 for 10, 3 for 7, 5 for 6. He had 19 points, 2 boards, 7 dimes, 5 steals, 15 points, 3 boards, 9 dimes, 6 steals, 14 points, 4 boards, 6 dimes, 6 steals. So he had and through 3 games, he had 17 steals.
That is insane.
Yeah,
I wonder what the most steals in a consecutive 3-game stretch is, because motherfucker, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
17? He's almost averaging 6 a game. That is well warranted that he got that effort. He should have got Player of the Month. What the fuck?
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Oliver Miller, he had moments. I mean, everybody. Well, I shouldn't say everybody knows about him, but he could have been something real special if he would have been able to manage his weight.
Yeah.
And now Romeo Robinson, 3 wins for the Nets back in 93. He shot 7 for 14, 7 for 19, and 10 for 15. This was in early March of 93. He had a 21, 5 boards, 8 dimes, 5 steals. He had a 20 points, 5 boards, 6 dimes, 7 steals, 1 block. So he's 4 blocks off a 5x5. He's a point like an undersized guard.
Dang.
He was like, and then his last game, last game, 23 points, 10 dimes, 0 steals. So he had 12 steals between 2 games there.
That's nuts, man.
That was a pretty sweet one. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting to go through some of that stuff.
No, I love those, dude. That's like because otherwise these guys just get totally lost to time, I feel like.
All right, so I have a question for you before I move on to Lloyd Vaught. I'm gonna read you two seasons, do the classic anonymous stat comparison.
Yeah, player A v player B.
Yep. And you're gonna have to tell me what you think. All right.
Good.
That'd be easier if you could see it. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Player A, 20 points per game. Okay, and keep in mind for this, they both played like 80 games.
Okay.
So not a huge discrepancy there. It's a 1-game discrepancy. Player A averaged 20 points a game. Player B, 23.8. Player A averaged 1 steal per game. Player B, 2 steals per game.
Ooh.
Are you writing this down?
Yeah.
Okay, clutch. You're smart. Player A, 6 assists per game. Player B, 7.7.
Wait, A was
5.8.
5.8.
Or 6. Yeah. And then player B, 7.7. Rebounds. Player A, 3.3. Player B, 4.3. Player A from the free throw line, 84%. Player B, 91. Player A from 3, 44%. Player B, 44%.
How many made per game?
From 3?
Yeah.
Player A, 5.
Basically volume.
Yeah, player A's 5, player B's 8.
Shooting, they were attempting that many?
Yeah, per game.
Okay.
And then player A's overall field goal percentage 47, player B 48.7.
Dang, this seems really tight just from.
And so just tell me, like, obviously looking at the statistics, you'd probably give it to player B, correct?
Well, yeah, because literally every single statistic. So player B has the edge in points per game, steals per game, assists per game, rebounds per game, shoots higher from the line, shoots they shoot the same from three, and he shoots better from the field and from three. So if this is the only information, there is no case for player A. Zero.
Okay. But you would say that those seasons are pretty similar, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's not like one's head and shoulders. They're like, very similar.
Very fucking similar, correct?
Yeah, they almost look like two seasons from one player, honest to God. It really looks like that.
Okay. So, player A, drum roll, please. I mean, shit.
Okay.
I'm going to give you to the count of 10. Okay,
1,
player A.
2.
Let's just do the whole bit. Player A, 0506, Mike James. That's a good-ass season, dude. I did not know he had that good of a season.
Are you for real?
Yeah, for Toronto.
Wow. Toronto.
Player A. You want to know what player B is? This makes me want to literally ram my head through. That might be how I end this podcast.
I think I got an idea.
Bullshit computer.
I think I got an idea.
You know who player A is? Or player B?
I think I got an idea.
Who?
Is it Steph?
Steph Curry in his first MVP season. What the fuck?
Yo.
Can we quit sucking his dick, please?
Yes, dude. Fucking go off, King.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Horse shit.
Yeah. I mean, it's
the gravity.
Gravity can suck my asshole, dude. Mike James. I'm a Mike James truther, dude.
That is stupid.
Yeah. That's actually ridiculous. Like,
what is there even to say about that? It makes me want to kill something.
I come onto this pod to talk basketball with my brother and be happy, and then you fucking put this in front of me. What the fuck is that?
So I think like everything, there's this side, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. Mike James deserves more credit for that season, and Steph Curry sure as fuck shouldn't have been the MVP in 2014, 2015.
Yeah, that it's really, really hard to make that case when you're looking at this sort of analysis, because that is, I mean, like we hinted at earlier, like so much of how you quantify basketball are these like just broad counting categories and these efficiency numbers, and it's like it makes Mike James look like he's 95% of what an MVP is. It really looks like that.
And I know it's not fair to reduce it to that, but for it to be that close.
But it's exactly what you're saying. It's like obviously Steph Curry's a more impactful player than Mike James, but maybe the gap isn't this big. Maybe it's only this big. Maybe it's only this big, but it's not fucking here where they think it is.
Can we quit? But and listen to this team. Listen to the 0506 Raptors. Rafael Arujo, Andre Barrett, Matt Bonner, CB4, Jose Calderon, Antonio Davis, Joey Graham, Mike James, Derek Martin, Mo Pete, Jalen Rose, Pape Sal, Charlie Skillinueva, Aaron Williams, Alvin Williams, Eric Williams, and Lauren Woods.
Sounded like 15 role players and then like Chris Bosh.
Yeah, Mo Pete's solid.
Obviously there's some decent guys.
But
there.
Yeah, and so Steph Curry has like all this help around him, and he can do his thing and not have to. It's like Mike James was. That's like, fucking hate this, dude. You don't see him getting one MVP vote. Didn't make the All-Star team.
Well, I'll be honest. I bet 95% of modern basketball fans think of a different Mike James, if they even think of one.
Yeah,
like that's a crying shame, dude. That is actually a crying shame. One of the. Fuck, man. And
I know that the Raptors this season went 27-55. Warriors would obviously go on to win the title in 2014, 2015, obviously, but MVP comes out before the title.
But that's what we're talking about. Like maybe like hyperbole and anger is making us say it's this close when actually, but the fact that one guy is an afterthought in NBA history and the other is like an bona fide all-time great, his resume is unassailable. It's like, All right.
Bill Simmons was just arguing if he
His
has
legacy
a
over
impact
LeBron.
Yeah,
Well, Bill Simmons is
yeah. We all know how
should be in a fucking home. So take
and
that.
then it was funny too because like this was just pettiness, but I was comparing that same Mike James season to Steph this season because apparently Steph is going to be Steph is the MVP this year.
Oh yeah, they crowned him,
And-
dude. 20 games
Yeah,
in.
yeah. So and that's not even worth going over because Mike James is better than Steph this season, and Mike James didn't make an All-Star game, but Steph's going to get MVP consideration. So go fucking figure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just something that I found.
He's just so little, and people just want to root for him. Fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking
So
hate Steph, dude.
yeah,
Dude, his dribbling routine on base at the baseline before the game. Where's Mike James with that, dude?
yeah. I mean, that's probably what hurt his MVP candidacy, honestly.
Yeah, the kids don't buy Mike James's jerseys, dude. So
Yeah, because he's not a face of the machine, dude.
yeah, seriously, dude. Another corporate drone, dude. Oh, shit.
That's all he is. Anyway, that's pretty much all. I mean, there's some other stuff. I know I talked about Lloyd Vaught. Like, I'm just gonna wrap it. I know I've talked a lot about just a bunch of random shit. But I'm just gonna let me rapid fire some shit at you real quick. Kamen's All-Star year 09-10. He averaged 19 and 9. Just balling.
How crazy is that that's only like what 12 years ago? Chris Kaman, an all-star.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
Guy hasn't even like. When's the last time even somebody who covers basketball mentioned his name, dude?
I know. I was actually looking to see what he looks like these days online, but I couldn't find anything.
Did you look in front of the mirror, dude?
I knew you were gonna say that shit. Fuck you.
I mean, the doppelganger joke had to come out.
Simple, dude. Jack to you, dude.
You're lucky I waited this long.
Daryl Armstrong, he has a nice player card if you just take a peek at it, dude. He had some good years, man. He had a year where in lockout season he averaged 14 and 7. He had a stretch where he averaged 14 and 7, 16 and 6, 16 and 7, 12 and 6.
Dang, I forgot
he was steal numbers.
Forgot he was like a CBA and like all the international leagues before. Forgot about that.
Yeah, so that was just kind of cool. He's from I bet you're not looking at his player card, are you?
I am.
Okay. Have you looked at don't look at his personal details. Have you?
Okay.
You haven't memorized? You don't?
No.
Guess where he's from, just the state. I wonder if you can guess it. Because he is the type of guy to be from the state.
Like, I could be way off base here. I'm not the type of guy.
You're probably looking right at it, you asshole.
No, I'm literally going to guess something like Alabama, Mississippi,
North Carolina.
Georgia. Okay. Because I was like, 100% somewhere down there. But I had nothing to base that off of, really.
Yeah, it just seems like a dude from the
South. Yeah.
Ronnie Cycli, dude. Motherfucker's underappreciated.
Oh, my God, dude. Isn't he a house DJ now, too? But no, he's legit.
Yeah, listen,
like forgotten the time guy.
Listen to his first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Listen to his first 6 years in the league. 11 and 7, 17 and 10, 16 and 11, 16 and 12, 17 and 12, 15 and 10.
Jesus.
With a block and a half per game over that stretch.
Huh. I wonder why I don't know. I mean, he was good for a long time, but it's just like some guys just don't have that staying power, I guess.
No, but I mean, even from age 23 to 32, he was a double-digit scorer with high rebounds. Yeah. And then it looks kind of like in 97, 98, he played. I don't know if he got hurt.
Well, when did Zoe come to Miami?
Well, I mean, he was still effective. He played he moved in 94, 95. He was on the Golden State Warriors. And
that sounds so weird to me. I can't even imagine that.
But he played, it looks like 56 games in 97, 98. But then in 98, in the lockout season, he played 9 games, and that was his last season in the NBA. So I don't know if he got hurt. And he had a significant dip in production in the end of 97, 98. So I don't know. He must have gotten hurt.
Well, I do see at the end it says did not play other pro league in Spain, but it's like some of those Spanish guys and just foreign guys in general. I mean, I feel like we're seeing it more now just because there's more international guys in the league, but it's like some of those guys, they come over, they get their NBA run, and then they just want to go back and play, Euro League. They want to go play that brand of basketball. I mean, it looks like sometimes a better on-court product and a funner style to play than the NBA, and they get to be,
They get to
Heroes
beat the
back where
dog,
they're
the big
from.
dog.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Maybe he was like one of the first to do that. But yeah, it does look like injuries if you're just looking at it. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Who knows?
Yeah. So last three I got here: Armin Gilliam, who is a great NBA player. I didn't realize he was taken second overall, but it's just interesting. I was looking at his player card. Started in 87, 88, came in really solid in the league, 15-8. But looking at his player card in 95, 96, when he was 31 years old playing for the Nets, he played 78 games, averaged 18 points, 9 boards, 2 dimes, a steal and a block. So,
Did you say he was
shot
35?
31.
Okay.
Shot 470 from the field. So a good season, he's still playing really well. The next season, he averaged 9 points per game, 6 rebounds per game. He played all 80. He played in 80 games, not all 80 games. What the fuck am I talking about? Played 10 less minutes per game. It's just weird. He must have taken he took a real back seat, like we went from New Jersey to Milwaukee. But I just wonder why his role was so greatly reduced,
so diminished.
Because he lost more than 10 points. He lost 10 points per game on his average. 10 minutes.
He lost 9 shots a game.
Yeah, I
feel like it's a more gradual step down. Even with guys forgotten the time, then literally to
go from 16 shots a game to 6 points or 6 shots per game. That's just kind of
that seems pretty drastic,
wacky.
Actually. Yeah, that does stick out. I don't even know if I ever would have picked up on that, but fuck.
I think I'm pretty sure
I never gave him enough credit as a player, though. Even looking at it now, I'm like, whoa.
Shit.
Yeah.
Well, one thing to keep in mind is like the 95, 96 Nets fucking blew a dick.
He has the track record at that point. Like, it's not like he was a young player just putting up numbers. Like, he was a seasoned NBA vet at that point.
And then the 96, 97 Bucks, they weren't that much better. So
that's like Ray's rookie year. Vin Baker and Big Dog and
I guess he just kind of was a little bit lower in the rotation because I'm sure they were trying to it was Big Dog's team at that point.
Yeah, Big Dog and Vin Baker.
And Vin Baker
ahead of those dudes.
I don't know. I wonder. I have to look at his. Was he traded or did he sign there?
I'll be honest, dude. That the Armin Gilliam's like career stats is almost as like jarring as when I learned Jerry West's height when I was like, when was that? Because I thought he was like 6'7" for the longest time. And then like sometime within
5'3".
And this was not super recent. So I want to clear that up. But if you would have asked me before that, what's Armin Gilliam's like career stats, I would have been like 7, 5, 1 and 1, like as an average. Like, what would you have said?
Like 13 and 6.
See, but I guess that's just a blind spot for me. I guess those early 90s Nets and
I see those numbers in there way, way higher than I would have.
I would have.
He's a career 17 and 9 guy. That's pretty awesome.
I would have guessed like his best season would have been like 13 and 7. But like his career averages, I guess I always thought of him as more just like a role player, not like, pretty good like power forward.
And so it looks like he signed with Milwaukee in 96. So he chose to go to Milwaukee and take the reduced role when, I don't know, that's just kind of interesting.
Dang. That is.
Anyway.
Pittsburgh's very own, dude. A.K.A. Pimpsburg.
Yeah, soon to be Pimpsburg. I'm just kidding. Reggie Lewis, I'm just looking at Reggie Lewis's player card, dude. That's so sad that he died. Because he was averaging
unreal. Yeah.
He was a workhorse. He played after his rookie season, he played 81, 79, 79, 82, 80. He averaged 19, 17, 19, 21, 21.
Well, it's like the Reggie Lewis Len Bias thing, dude. It's like those two dudes they looked like they were going to be a nice transition out of like the Bird, McHale, Parrish Celtics, but then it just, that sucks, man.
That's really sad, man, because he was having a great career.
Oh, serious. He was like maybe Hall of Fame potential. Not unreal. Yeah. Crazy. Sad.
Yeah. Then finally, this is going on way too long. Lloyd Vaught. This is one. Are you on his basketball reference?
Mm-mm.
He's just a guy. I look at him now. I'm like, this motherfucker looks so cool, dude. If you see his basketball reference page, he is so awesome.
I'm just
6'9".
I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way. I'm gonna Google image search.
No, you need to see this exact image though.
I
I'm
will.
saying. Okay.
Dang, he was a G.
He's from Michigan. Just a powerhouse,
my.
dude.
I didn't realize he like. Dang. Yeah.
But I didn't realize this, dude. He had a 3-year stretch where he was that guy, dude.
Really?
Like, I mean, the mid-90s Clippers were horse shit, but 18-10, 16-10, 15-10.
Dang.
And he played 80+ games in all 3 of those seasons.
Wow, and he looks like the most attractive man on planet Earth on his basketball reference. My God, dude.
Yeah. I'm just like, why wasn't this guy a guy I was obsessed
with?
With
The chest hair popping, dude?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Anyway, I thought that was, and then like it looks like he was pretty significantly ravaged by injuries after the 97 season. 96, 97 season, that is. I mean, he wouldn't play more than 100 games. Well, yeah, he would. 150 games for the rest of his career. And he played like 5 more years.
That's unfortunate. When I did Google image, again, dude, I feel like we are just bad effing luck, but I think I saw a mugshot in there. And
really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on his Wikipedia and it doesn't seem like there's anything like substantial, but like, it's like, I don't know.
Oh, darn. Yeah, the older version of him?
Yeah, still like one of the sweetest
Look
dudes
at that
ever.
Jawline, dude. What a G.
Yeah. And he has like like the guys who just have the super dense 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it's painted on.
Motherfucker. Yeah, he created a disturbance at an airport, I guess.
Okay,
Passenger terminal. Yeah.
Well, it depends on what. Some of these motherfuckers at airports, dude.
No, it said the arrest was based on his behavior, not anything in his possession. So it was probably, I don't know.
I know, but I get so tired of hearing about these people that like I'm gonna pull the emergency thing. Like don't ruin it for everybody, motherfucker.
Yeah. No, don't put Lloyd Vaught in that type of behavior in one sentence, dude.
Plus he's from Michigan.
Yeah.
One of the great states of the union.
And he's a hooper, dude. So.
Yeah. With that, dude, with the memory of Lloyd Vaught here, I shouldn't say the memory. That motherfucker's alive and well. But with this all, he was a 13th overall pick from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Ooh-wee.
Anyway,
Battle Creek, Michigan.
Yeah. That was a lot of reading a bunch of numbers that nobody's going to give a fuck about, but
I did.
Good shit,
and I'm the only one here. So
yeah,
fuck them, dude.
You and me, dog. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we'll call it for the evening. We'll be back next Wednesday, and I'll actually watch a fucking NBA game this week and quit being a sad boy. So
all right, well, for Bailey and Tanner and the Wax Chronicles, dude, take us home, dude, and Derek Coleman.
Bye.